Okay, hello everyone. We are in the garage today because we are about to do another DIY project. What I want to do is I want to hang these two bikes here, the two regular bikes, not the e-bike, the two regular bikes. I want to hang them up from the rafters on a pulley system behind this flag. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to move this stuff out of the way, and between these two rafters right here, I'm going to brace it with a either a 2x4 or a 2x6, depending on what I have. I may go across all four, it just depends, to distribute the weight across all four. But these bikes are not heavy, so there's not a big weight consideration like there would be with hanging this kayak. So yeah, we're going to get a measurement there, check my lumber inventory and see what I want to run across there. And then we're going to attach these two trolleys that I bought on Amazon, and we're going to hang these bikes. They have hooks on them, so you can almost hang anything. But a hook will go on the front and a hook will go under the seat, and it'll just lift them up to up there. And what we're trying to do is just conserve some floor space here because it gets a little crowded and moving things around. So if we have those bikes up out of the way, then just like the kayak, I still got to do another one for the other kayak. I haven't done that yet. That other kayak is under there. So we're going to do the bikes. I think that'll be a pretty easy project. The kayak kind of takes two people. Yeah, we have two people, but right now we don't have two people. So I'm going to get started on this project and get it going. Okay, here's where we're at. So I kind of got ahead a little bit and did some reading. We do have instructions. There's not a whole lot of words. It's just all diagrams. But that's okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I get the concept.
Pictures.
I was also able to solicit Therese to help from the inside. She was working on something else out here in the heat to work with me to get this video done. So thank you, Therese, for coming out and giving us a hand here.
It's hard to get anything done when you're a woman.
It's hard to get anything done as a man. A good man needs a good woman, right?
I got a lot of jobs.
So I measured the span of the trusses, the 2x4s, and I need a 4-foot piece to go across it this way. So that's what I've done. You need a 2x4 minimum. I did look at my 2x4s, and I looked at the width of these brackets here, and they run right to the edge of a 2x4. So I didn't really like that, and I have a whole bunch of these 2x6s. I mean, I've got so many of these, I'll never use them all. So I opted for the wider 2x6. That'll give it a little more bracing anyway. And then these will ride in the middle, and you've got an extra inch on each side, so the nail doesn't come out the side of the 2x4. That's what I was worried about.
So what I'm hearing is you will not be building me a clubhouse with all this extra wood you have. I thought you were going to build me a she shed woman's clubhouse.
Yeah, about that. Anyway, stay on point here. All right, so our 2x6 needs to be 4 feet, and I've already cut these to 4 feet, and I need 2 of them because I'm hanging 2 bikes. So one set of pulleys will hang 1 bike. The other set of pulleys will go on the other board and hang the other set of bike, and you'll space them apart. So, how do you position these on the board? Well, I'm getting ready to tell you. What I did is I guesstimated approximate distance just to kind of get them in the middle of the board, but wide enough apart that most of the weight is going to pull on the 2x4 trusses and not hang here in the middle. Another thing you have to do according to the instructions, you have to measure over here. I'll show you. So you have to measure where the hooks are going to be. The hooks are going to go on the front of the bike and the back of the seat. So you measure that distance. Straighten the handlebars out there, and you just get a quick measurement to the back of the seat, and it's right at 32 inches. I've measured these already. They're both 32 inches. So you bring that 32 inches back over here. And I'll show you what the hooks are going to look like. And you can move them around. It's going to hook under the seat. and it's going to hang, if you can think upside down, it's going to hang on the pulley like this.
I don't know if my brain works like that.
So these are your two pulleys, your hang points. So your hang points is the distance between the seat and the handlebars. So you want those pulleys to be 32 inches apart so that your cables aren't coming down at an angle. They'll be coming down straight. So you want them to be 32 inches apart. Now this pulley, depends on how you hang it. Some diagrams hang it on the back of the seat, some of them hang it on the back of the wheel. You could do it either way. You could hang the bike by the wheels too. That would be a little further apart. But I went with the average of these two pulleys in the middle. I went with that to the top of this pulley is 32 inches. Now if I wanted to hang them from the wheels, I could. All you would want to do is maybe widen them out, maybe a little more like that. Another inch or so. And these aren't hard measurements. These are estimated, measurements. I think I am going to go wider. So my rope may be open a little wider, but I may get up there and find out that I want to, instead of hook the seat, I may hook the wheels. Because lifting it by the wheels will bring the bike up higher and more out of my way. So we'll have to see what kind of clearance we got. We got high ceilings in here, so I think the handlebar and the seat is going to work out just fine. But I wanted to leave myself an option that if I hook the seats that my cables aren't going to look stupid. So I'm giving kind of an inch either way so that they'll line up and look nice. Either way I do it. Okay, so we got that measurement. And I'll do them both the exact same way. So now what we're doing is they only give you 10 screws. But as you can see, there's 10 holes in each one. So I had to go and find some more wood screws, which I did. I found some over there. And I'm going to pre-drill the holes, which I've already set my bit. So you always want to go slightly smaller than the screw that you're using on diameter, or else your screws won't bite. So I've already got my bit, and I've already got my driver. And so that's what I got to do now is pre-drill my holes and then put all my screws in. And the reason I'm doing it down here instead of doing it up on the ceiling is I could mount the board, but now you're going to be working overhead like this on the ladder, and the ladder is only about this tall, and I have to get another 4 feet up. So I'm going to be standing on the very top rung of the ladder and I don't like doing that. It's kind of...
Well, I don't like you doing it either.
So I'd rather do all the work down here, and then I'll pre-drill, and then I'll just have to do 2 screws overhead, 2 screws overhead, and I'm done, instead of 10 screws overhead.
Now, are these ones you got on Amazon?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
these on Amazon.
I know we were looking at Harbor Freight for a while, but they were always out of stock.
Yeah, you can never get them. And I could still use 2 more. We got 2 e-bikes we could hang. But I want to get these done, and these weren't expensive. I think it was about $20, $19 or $20 for the set of 2.
Well, that's a good price.
Yeah, I thought so. And this is kind of what it looks like. And so the hangers are for the bike, and you can hang them from the wheels, or here's an example of them being hung from the wheels, or you can hang them from the handlebar and the seat. But that measurement A is the measurement between your trolleys there. And there's another example.
Nice.
And then you have a cleat, a tie-off here, and they do give you the cleat. I was surprised that they give you one. But I'll have this back pulley, the one that you pull on, will be toward the back of the garage so that I can tie it off to the wall. So there'll be a wall cleat like this on the wall. The same way I hung the kayaks, is I have it on a pulley system. That wasn't a bought pulley system, that was one I built out of pulleys and rope.
Oh, I see you hung your flags.
Yep. I got
That
up there,
one.
too.
Are those the ones we got from that nice gentleman at the Chiefland Flea Market?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. And I've got another one here. But it's a U.S. flag. And I've already got a U.S. flag, but that's a good one to replace it with.
Yeah, because they do wear out.
Yeah.
Oh, I see we got lots of wall space here. We could hang all kinds of neat stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The RV's pretty high. You can't hang too much over there.
No, but over here.
Yeah. There's lots of vertical space to use in this garage so that you can free up your floor space. And that's what I'm trying to do, is free up the floor space. Alright. So that's really about it. Let's see where we're at.
All right.
Okay, so far here's what we got done. The one in the back here is already done. It's already screwed in. And so we're getting ready to do this one. So all I did was just switch the boards around so I could reach it and not have to reach over it. So I just lined the boards up here so they are, they're the same, butted up. That way I don't have to really measure these out. I can just line them up with the one across from it. Line it up with the one across from it here also, and then just kind of center it by eye in the middle of the board, and that should be good enough. So I'm getting ready to run the screws in here. Now I did have some problems with these screws that came with. The tips like to spin out, and then they spin in place, and you can't run the screw all the way down. So I had to drill a bigger hole and then put a different tip on it. So these are, I don't know. I don't like these screws, but I'm going to use them because they came with it. And then I put a couple of extra ones in here. These seem to bite better and go all the way down. So what I did is, these are your screws that came with it, but you can see they're pretty ratted out. I had to use the flat tip to get them all the way in there. And then I put two of the wood screws that I had. I'd put them in the middle just for extra support. I did the same thing over here, and I'll do the same thing with these. So I'll go ahead and get that done, and then all we gotta do is put it up. Okay. Hopefully I got the camera angled so you can see what I'm going to be doing once I get up there. I've already put one up. So that was my practice piece. So hopefully this one goes, it went pretty smooth. I have some bar clamps, and I normally would bar clamp one end while I screw the other end in, but my bar clamps don't extend wide enough to go around the 2x6 and the thickness of the other 2x6 I'm putting up. So I figured if I put one screw in, it would hold it. But I ended up having to put all three screws in, which I really didn't want to do, because that doesn't give you the movement to line it up left and right to make sure it's like parallel and straight and all that. But I want some distance between these, but I can't get too close to the motorhome because they're going to hang down below the roof line of the motorhome. I don't think the boat is well, the boat might be in the way too, so I got to stay like right in here. So I positioned the ladder so it kind of puts me right in the middle, and I don't want to get on that one joist hanger. A little to the left of that joist hanger, and I think this will give at least 3 feet of space, which is the width of 2 half a handlebars, so the bikes don't hit each other when they're in the air. That's the thought process. So right now, without further ado, I've already pre-drilled the holes, and I've got the screws already in there, so I don't have to be like this with, well, I have to hold the board, so I can't hold the board, hold the nail, and drop the screwdriver. So this one has to go toward the back, just like that one did. And then my ladder's a little cockeyed, so I need to move my ladder a little bit. So let me reposition my ladder here, because I can't, it's hard to do bent over backwards. So I'm going to move it. I think if I spin it, I think that'll give me a better angle. Okay. This one goes to the rear, so remember that. this has me working with my left hand, which I'm not favored on, but I think I can do it. All the way in. It's hard for me to get enough leverage on there with only one hand pushing. So I'm hoping that won't fall before I get up there and drive a screw in. They are good and strong because when I put that other one up there, I held onto it and lifted my weight up off the ladder, so I know they're good and strong. I gotta finish getting these screws all the way in. They're not quite all the way in. All right. Whew. There you go. All right, we still have to get the rope and put the hooks to the rope and tie them around. They go kind of like that. And then we still got to put the cleats in. Okay, next we are going to put the cleats for the rope for the tie-off. So that's what they look like. You just screw them to a wall and the rope will go around them like a boat cleat and you'll tie them off. And if there's any excess rope, you can trim it at the end of the project. So in order to line them up, here they both are side by side. Right now we're looking at the one on the right here. It's right lined up with the seam. You see the seam in the metal? So I'm going to follow that seam right down, all the way down to right there left of where my drill is hanging. You see that? And so that's where I'm going to hang the first cleat. So I know it's lined up with that one up. It's lined up with the hoist. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay. That's got that. All right. So I got the other bike strung up. That was my practice run, and then I'm going to video this side. The other one was just like it. There were no issues. The only thing was there's a small hole over there at the end that I got to poke and work the rope to go through to tie it off. But I've got a tool for that, so it should be pretty easy. I'm just untying the rope here and let the long part just drop down back here in the back. And then you just have to string it through. And then I put one of the hooks on, and they're flexible so you can move them around. I want it to hook this way, so you want it facing that way. And I think you can turn them anyway. If you get them hung the wrong way, it's not a big deal. So you got to pull quite a bit. slack out here. Okay, I have to move the ladder. And I think you could hang more than bikes up there. I mean, it's called a bicycle hoist lift or a bicycle lift, but you could hang almost anything on it. Alright, so this has to go through this pulley first, and then down. Into this one. Whoop. Okay, and here's kind of the hard part. If there's any hard part, is I gotta thread this through here. I got a little small tip screwdriver that'll help feed it in there because the hole's kind of tight. With a little bit of patience, it'll feed in there. Okay, I got it. And, something you want to be mindful of, I always am, when you're up in the air like this, and there's always a chance you could fall, putting sharp tools in your pocket is not really a good idea. I'm aware it's there, you always have to be mindful it's there, and if I should fall, hopefully you won't fall on it and impale yourself. So I'm really done with this tool, so to prevent that, I'm just going to toss it on the ground. Just a little safety measure, keep in mind. You always see the videos of, if you ever seen construction videos where guys wear a tool belt and they got hammers and all the stuff hanging off their belt and then they fall? Ugh, with that tool belt, that's what would scare me more than what I'm going to hit when I fall. I'm worried about what tool is going to impale me. And I think there's a very high chance of that. Okay, so this is all there is to it. Now I need to get some more rope going through here because the bikes are, we're about 10 feet in the air. I think this is a 10-foot ladder, and I'm 3 feet above that, so this garage roof is pretty high. Okay, I think that should do it. I'll go ahead and get the camera moved down to the floor so you can see me lift the bike. Okay, we're going ahead and hook the bike up. Now these bikes are really light. If you're dealing with e-bikes, they can be anywhere from 75 to 125 pounds. And I built it so it could hold that. But right now we're not hanging e-bikes, we're hanging our regular bicycles. And these are townies, these are great bikes, we love them, but they really got beat up on that ride to Alaska. They got all scratched up and yeah, they really got messed up. But they're lightweight aluminum, they're still functioning well, they just look like crap now. You may have to try to get them painted or something, or Trying to get some more slack in the road here. It has kind of a locking mechanism on the top. If you pull the rope over like this, it locks. But you don't really have to do much for it to lock. It locks pretty easy. That should be close enough. So you just hook it. So you can pull down. So you hook the bike like that. And now you can just lift the bike. Push down on the back so the front will go up with it. I guess the front's a little heavier than the back. These bikes are really light. They're probably only about 20 pounds. They're made of aluminum frame, and I just hate that they got damaged on that ride to Alaska. They got mutilated. I mean, oh my goodness. They're not even sellable at this point, so we do like the bikes. They were pristine condition, and now they're scratched all like, oh man, it's terrible. But anyway, let me adjust the camera so you can see it going up. There we go. And it's self-locked, see? I can let the rope go and it hangs there. Got a little lock, you gotta pull it down. Pull down on the front to even it out. Okay, so there's the finished product. They do hang down a little bit, but they're way up over my head. They're about 2 feet over my head. You can see the 10-foot ladder, so the bottom of the bike is about 10 feet. So they're up. The only thing that goes under here now is the jet ski. I can put the jet ski back under here, and it's probably only about 3 feet high. So now we got plenty of room, and we're getting these bikes off the floor, where floor space is such a premium. There it is. We got them up. Yay. I still got to do another kayak. It's a lot more work because I fabricated the lift points on the kayak. And it gets hot up there in the rafters. I'm trying to pick a nice cool morning to do that. But I thought this was a quick and easy project. And it was. So if you guys are ever interested in some bike hangers, I think they do a good job. I think they were easy to install and be easy to retrieve your bike and put your bike back up and then not take any floor space away from what you're doing. So that's about it. I don't know if many of you have had a chance to see a motorcycle. I don't take it out that much, but we rode it today because we took the car to go get the windows tinted. And I got my sweat rag hanging off the back there, but there's my bike. It's a 2015 Indian Vintage, and I bought it about the same time I bought the campground. I came from Alaska to Ocala, and I spent about 2 weeks with my parents there in Chiefland, and I had my eyes on this bike, and I was talking to the guys, a private owner sale. and I got this bike, and I was looking to buy the Shady Oaks campground. It was called Shady Oaks, but it wasn't an LLC, so I built the Shady Oaks LLC, Shady Oaks Campground LLC. But that's the bike, and I got to ride it today, and it was fun riding it. And I'll flip this around, and so here's the jet ski that's got to get pushed back in there. The bike gets put back in there. This electric bike gets pushed back in there. You see where the floor space gets really tight, and then the Jeep will fit in there too. So I'm all sweaty. It's very hot today, and I'm glad to get this done, and I'm ready to go inside, take a shower, get cleaned up, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks, guys. Another DIY project at Madam Mayor's Adventures.